Rowley Jefferson, and I live in a superhuman society. 80% of the population possesses some kind of uncanny ability known as a quirk. But I guess luck wasn't on my side. I'm one of the few people my age who was born without a quirk. Still, I've always looked up to heroes, and my long life dream has been to be the first quirkless hero. You can't be a hero without a quirk. Nobody really supported my dream, even my own parents. They said that I should pick a career where I can better apply my strength. They didn't say it out loud, but I could tell what they meant. You can't be a hero without a quirk. But one day everything changed. Young man, you too can become a hero. After a year of training with Strong Steve, I got into the OBAY Hero course. My friend Greg got into general studies, so I still see him sometimes, but he's been a lot more distant lately. The first 2 months of my OBAY career were normal, or at least as normal as it can get when you don't have a quirk. But the reason I'm even started writing this down in the first place is because something terrible happened yesterday. I'm not the best artist, but it's important that I get this down. It all started during the USJ trip. It's a field trip the Hero Corps students take to practice rescuing people. But before we could practice anything, some unwelcome guest showed up. A group of villains showed up, and so did my friend Greg. The next thing I knew, my teacher was telling me and my other friend Holly to take Greg's motorcycle and go get help. I could tell Greg was disappointed that he couldn't help too, but there was no time to talk to him. Holly and I headed outside, and sure enough, the bike was leaning up against a building. We both got on, and soon we were on our way. Until suddenly somebody started following us. It was one of the villains. Holly told me to keep driving, so that's what I did. The creepiest thing started happening. His fingernails and toenails grew, and he started crawling towards us 10 feet in the air. Holly started using her quirk to make walls of solid air, and that seemed to slow him down a little. Just as we were starting to gain on him, I saw something up ahead. It was the UA campus. At first I was relieved until I realized that we were leading the villain straight to him. I knew what I had to do. Holly, you drive! Huh? But... Get help and come back quick. I gotta hold him off. Holly looked like she wanted to protest, but the villain was getting closer, so she moved to the front and took off. That just left me watching this guy quickly crawl his way towards me. I knew I couldn't defeat a villain by myself, but I needed to try. I wasn't going in empty-handed either. Along with hand-to-hand combat, Strong Steve had taught me to use a bow staff, and I figured I could use it to deflect the villain's scratches, at least for a while. At first we were basically having a sword fight, staff against nail, but this guy was fast, and soon I was just barely getting out of the way. After one final slash, I felt pain in my chest, and realized he had grabbed me by the shirt. He retracted his fingernails and started to reel me in. Rowley Jefferson! Quirk, none. Although he has no quirk, he trained with the #1 hero, Strong Steve, for all of his 8th grade year. Along with basic combat skills, he has been introduced to a variety of martial arts styles. As the villain pulled me closer, I was sure I was done for, but suddenly I noticed a shadow looming above me. Strong Steve slung the villain over his back and Holly drove up to us on the bike. The three of us headed back to the USJ. Still, I couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. Strong Steve had saved my neck again, just like during the villain attack at school. When would I get a chance to prove I could stand on my own? Eventually we got back to the USJ. As Holly and I dismounted the bike, Strong Steve burst through the door to find chaos erupting all around us. My classmate Speed Bump was fighting a villain, with Christina close behind. After a second, I realized it wasn't just any villain. That was the Grout, that guy who I had tried to fight the day I met Strong Steve. Steve lunged over to the Grout, with Holly and I following close behind. Strong Steve! Quirk! Bulk up. He can change his muscle definition at will, allowing him to become incredibly strong or very scrawny in an instant.
However, he can sprain his muscles if he uses his power too much. Along with his job as the #1 hero, he has recently taken a position as a teacher of heroes at UA High School. Although he has no formal teaching experience, he has plenty of first-hand wisdom to pass on to his students.
Time I finish you guys one for all. Huh! Join Manny and Greg. Never! Strong Steve leapt towards the ground and sent him flying. You're that villain I fought 1 year ago. Couldn't stay down the first time, huh? But as the Grout was flying backwards, something happened. It seemed like a portal had opened up behind him. Everyone stay here. But